Alright, let's give this a go then. Try to see if everything's working. And it is the final week. And it is the final week of this season 42. Been excited for this season. Action holes, everyone thumbs, pray, anything you can do. So, clear first, the infinite improbability team. I think they've basically taken it, so really what we're looking at is going to be the fight for second, unless they lose. And, well, no. They might have actually taken it already. If you look at the standings, your infinite probability 13, you get 2 points for a match win. So the next following team could get up to 13, and then it would be down to the second one. So maybe Ilonuelet is the closest option to take a second game, but for now let's just look at the games, shall we? Alright, so we've had 2 that started just now. Let's have a look and see. I've got to catch up first on what's been happening, right? So COSMOAPS versus gigantaure. Which one would it be? I think I've seen gigantaure around the community a bit more. I'm not so sure about COSMOAPS. Might be someone new. And let's see what we've got here. COSMOAPS white, e4, c6. Oh, this is interesting. Queen f3 second move. I wonder if this has a name. It's definitely not something I recognize. Okay, are you going straight for like a scholar's mate? d5, take, knight e2, okay. Knight e2 back to g1, g4 pushing the queen, e6, check, push the bishop, attack the queen first, then move the bishop, then knight f6. I feel like white has been flexing. They did this with their knight. Very interesting. And this is where we are now. Okay. So we can see there's a clear difference in Queen f3 on move 2 has a specific name. White has essentially just kind of thrown their tempi out the window a little bit by having to move their queen around. I think they've done this, and they've also done this. So that's 1, 2, that's a few as well. The queen hasn't really been able to do much. And black's just got to... Oh, okay, this is why they've been thinking. Like, should they steal the pawn or not? Black, I don't know, they could have just castled. They've already developed all their minor pieces. They would have put their king away. And even after castling, black would be well ahead in development. But I guess this is also a way to go. Take that extra pawn first. For the white side, I don't think there's any specific... No specific punishment for this. Maybe over here to hit the bishop and to hit the knight, which is currently pinned. You can try win a pawn there. Maybe they trade it off, they castle, you take, you take that, they move the rook over, you come back. So maybe that's a way for white to get a little bit from the interesting opening. Just playing knight d4 in this situation. Okay. They've played very fast though, they haven't even gone down their time yet, so we'll give this a second. I'm going to turn off the sound here and get to the other game that we've got right now. And the other game we've got JW so we both... Oh, I've actually played against JW Wells and I beat them. I wonder how long ago that was. And AACtrl I've never played, but I also have seen them around the community. Our game was 4 years ago in Lone Wolf, 30 plus 30. Alright, so this game, JW Wells is white, knight f3. I've been playing with this idea a little bit more as well, just trying to get some knight f3 action going. Knight c6, okay, d4, d5. This is going to look like a... This is looking very much like there's a London coming on the board now. I'm not a massive fan, I'm sure there's a name for this, but I'm not a massive fan of playing knight c6 in this position. Okay, so maybe black is also just trying to do like a reversed London basically. Okay. avoiding any jumps down here, I guess. A3, I don't know if that's really a necessary move in this case, but anyway, E6, E3, bishop D6. This is classic London stuff, and white can either take or push it back, or even keep the bishop there if that's the kind of game they want. They do drop it back. And the point being, if black takes, they take with the H-pawn, they try and open up the file versus black, who might be casting that side. So we'll see. Okay. Actually, let me go back quickly because I see that AACtrl is having a little chat. Hey, Death Metal. Good to see you, man. Yeah, my timing is off. I'm so sorry. I've played AA a few times. Yeah, AA is a good player, man. JW Wells is a good player too. A little bit of a mark on their record that they've lost to. They both obviously are strong players. 2000 rated. Should be a good game. By the way, what time is it where you are right now? Metal. I'm wondering why I keep catching you at the worst times. I just want to check here because AACtrl had some whispers here. Might be interesting. So on A3 they said I was planning to play C4, knight B4. Okay, so they were looking for this. Oh, interesting. So this is maybe something that both of them have been prepping, and that's why they played A3. It's silly not to have prepared for A3. Okay. So I understand. So there was a chance that they could have played here and then had this weakness exposed because of their own knight square bishop. But I see that JW Wells was expecting that, so fair enough. Okay. Out, they pull back. Knight F6, just developing. And here C4 comes. Okay, and this is where this kind of threat, but now they can't. So I wanted to wait for bishop F1 to move before they take. Okay, yeah, so this is a classic one. I'm enjoying Control's comments here. So obviously if you take now, then white can just take back and develop their bishop in one move. So this is just good for white. So ideally black wants to wait. But if you wait, white could play c5 here, push past, and then you can't take anymore, and they just push your dark square bishop off this. Either you have to fall back or you have to take, and white is just slowly taking. They let go of the tension in the middle, but they take a lot more space on the queen side, which is probably where they'll end up trying to push further. If they did play c5, it would be followed by b4 at some point, almost certainly. We'll see. Okay, here's another line AACtrl had. They wanted to castle, and then if c5 came, they would take, and h takes, and then they wanted to play b6. And the idea being that they want to open up the middle while white would still be uncastled, because in that line, white also hasn't moved their light square bishop yet, so they have to use 2 moves to castle. And given that they've moved all these pawns now, probably white wouldn't be castling queenside to attack down that file, but let's see. Anyway, yeah, black actually decided to do that, felt it was a bit too creative, fair enough, so they just take, and they allow white to develop, taking back very easily, and then castled, and knight c3, so pretty good, pretty like kind of standard play, nothing too funny. I was a little bit surprised by the a3 line, but it looks like this was just both players prepping for each other. The point of a3 is that after this, black wanted to push out because they had this bishop already covering the c2 square. Alright, to take here, and now white played knight c3, and it's black's move. What to do? For black, I would say very easy in certain cases. They've given up their middle pawn for the side pawn, so white's got a bit more control here. But I really think that they should be getting this knight moving. So I would, if I was them, be considering something like this, just pushing out on the queen side, something even more direct maybe, so just popping over your knight there, hitting that bishop right away, and perhaps following that up with the pawn, and then if they take, we can trade queens, but you'd be able to take, you'd probably take back with the other rook, to be honest, this way, and you'd immediately have your rook open here. This file would be open, and you could put your other rook there, and it would be pretty symmetrical, pretty equal, but also a pretty nice game. I don't think there's any massive confusions or discomforts for black in that situation. Oh, 1 second, I think there's some problem, but now I have to check what the problem is, don't I? Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem whatsoever. Alright, that's pretty good. Okay, so just by the way, in terms of who's playing for which team, Winning Like Ding's beginning to look a lot like Blundercats and oh no, not again. Okay, so no one here is playing for the top 1-2 teams. We want to keep our eyes open for anyone from the Infinite Improbability team, Eleanor, Takes Oops, and then maybe Game of Thrones and Pawn Grabber's Guide to the Universe. A lot of 42 references for anyone who still doesn't get it. 42 is obviously a great reference from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and 42 being the answer to everything. And then you follow up with, wait, but so what was the question in the first place? So it's a really, really great series of books. There's obviously the main one, which I think everyone knows, but there's a few different books as well that follows up on that. So Long and Thanks for the Fish and all of that, I think, are the follow-up books. So I definitely recommend that you have a look at those. They're very, very fun. All right. By the way, say hello in the chat because I am both testing if it's working, and I really would appreciate some company. And I don't have a co-streamer tonight, so in lieu of co-streamers, some co-chatters would be greatly appreciated. Def came past to say hi, but unfortunately, he's always going to sleep when I get up, so I think we're just on the wrong sides of the planet, as the way it goes. Alright, so back to our previous game. I was looking at knight e4, knight d4 for white. In this position, I thought it might be interesting. You hit the bishop, even if they take you can trade, and you also double up against this knight. Might be a way for white to get some counterplay for the fact that they've played such an incredibly unique opening. Let's see. Gigantaure says, hi all, thanks for watching. Obviously out of blue and a little under the weather. Looking like I took advantage of this here. Indeed. Yeah, no. White did some very interesting things here in the opening. So knight c6 making a lot, knight c3, not more sense. Just saving the bishop. Alright. Castle. Knight g5. Okay, so trying to see if there's anything here. I guess what you could do is you could double sack and then get one of them back with some potential, but actually that would just drop your queen. So I'm a little bit unsure what white's plan with knight g5 is. Also, they still have an undeveloped dark square bishop here, so maybe something like d4 or b3 could be kind of good as well. And knight g5. Black just says thank you very much for the center and all the fish, if you get the reference. Okay, this pawn still protected. If they take here, black connects their pawns even more. Bishop d3. Oh, I see. So white is really keen to try and create some kind of attack on the king side. Having this access with the queen coming out early, they're probably looking at something interesting. I could say in this position for black, what might be fun is just to hit the queen, and after they take with their pawn, you just take the other pawn here. Oh, I do realize that you're actually dropping your middle pawn. So I guess that makes more sense than that black first play d4, dislodging that queen, and now white has to make a plan. And I also noticed that white hasn't. Hey Daniel, Vetterfuck. Is that's how I pronounce your surname because I'm South African. Vetterfuck. Please tell me which way I pronounce it. Thank you very much for saying hi, by the way. I appreciate it. And do tell us where you're phoning in from. I'm always curious to know who's watching from where. Oh my goodness. This is very dangerous. So white just moved the queen over to g3, and you can see that it's actually in immediate danger. After black plays e4, they'll be hitting the queen, the bishop is protected. They'll also be hitting the light square bishop. This is a dangerous spot for white. I think they might be falling for a little bit of a tactic here. This might cost them dearly. They also, if you haven't noticed, had this double attack already happening on their queen and their knight, so what to do? I guess what black could do, depending on what they think how fast white reacts, they could probably take the knight first and then play this. Obviously, if you play this in the move and you take one, then you can't take the other one because they'll probably jump it away, but yeah, I mean, black is basically spoiled for choice. Do you take the knight and then hope to spring the second trap the second time, or just spring the trap immediately and take the light square bishop. Personally, if I was black, yeah, I agree. I would take the knight. It's solid, it's clean, and based on how the game has gone, there's a fair chance that white doesn't see the second attack coming. So there black just went up a piece, a minor piece. Unfortunately, I see white's connection is also just coming and going the whole time, so I don't know if they're playing from somewhere strange or they're on some kind of connection that's just incredibly dodgy, but they keep going online offline. That said, they've also just used absolutely no time, so not exactly sure what the situation is there, but it's looking fairly certain that white is going to have a learning experience, and black will be able to pick up one more point for their game. Actually, I think something else we could quickly do here might be interesting, just to have a look at how the players have done. So gigantaure is actually a alternate, I see. So they drew in round 2 and they beat someone in round 7. That's pretty good, and now they're currently playing, so well done to them. In terms of the opponent is also an alternate. Wow, the words. They're also an alternate. They had a forfeit win in round 5, and they lost in round 7, and now this current game. Okay, very nice, very nice. For those who don't know, alternates are a massive part of the way that our system works, because there are always people who cannot make their games or can only play certain weeks. In some cases we get matched up and then just no one can find the right time to play. For someone like me, for instance, in Japan, I play people in Europe and America, and sometimes that's very difficult to find the right time to schedule a game. So we really appreciate people who come play as alternates, because that's basically the only way that the league can actually function. And also, if you register the first time, it's quite likely you're going to be an alternate, so it's a way to kind of ease into the league. Alright, so let's have a look at AACtrl quickly. They've played, they're on board 3. They have a 4 out of 7 score right now, performance rating of 2155, very good for them. Let's see. They lost to Feet, one of our friendies, and they beat Mills, another one of our friendies. And where did they get their big rating jump from? Beating Mills, I guess, was pretty good, 2109. Fairly higher rated opponent. Yeah. Oh, and also beating Superfighter, 2131. So they've had a really good season. Even though it's 4 out of 7, 2155 is a great performance result, so clearly they're doing very well. And then JW Wells, also on board 3. They have 4.5 out of 7. They're doing 2114, also very good. Very nice. So they must have beaten someone slightly higher rated somewhere. Yeah, no, still looking. No. Oh, okay, so they've just got solid performances. That's really how they got that performance rating. Well done to both of them. Very good. Okay. On this move, so they did take with the pawn, and black did play the second trick, but the second trick allows the bishop to come out. So still, I think this is good though, because after you take, probably this bishop is hanging either way, right? But you have to take the dark bit with the dark bishop first, because if you take the light square bishop, then they can take your dark square bishop and you can't take back. So pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous. Let me just double check here. Very nice. Hey, Scrooge. Yeah, man, alt is the way to go. Actually, various times in the past, I've actually just signed up as an alt myself, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to play multiple seasons or multiple rounds, and I just wanted to have a game here and there. The other thing with being a alt, which is great, is that you can choose if you want to play, right? So if you don't really feel like it, then they're just saying no thank you. Then you just don't play. Oh, I forgot to turn off the sound on this one. Ooh, that's the sound. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just checking here. Well, it looks like we're having a little bit of problems with the connection. problems with the connection. And I'm just checking if it's something serious or not. We will see, we will see. Nope, looks like it's okay. Alright, alright, alright. Okay, and when I say I look like it's okay, that's on my side. So if the connection's terrible and you see a lot of problems on your side, please let me know. If it's terrible and you see a lot of problems on your side, please let me know. Please let me know. Please let me know. Anyway, moving back to the game then. The next one I wanted to go back to was the J.W. Wells and AACtrl game. The last point we left off was take castles in 3. Okay, and here I said I wanted to see black kind of get going in this way, or even more directly just with a knight jump hitting the light square bishop. And it looks like they did decide to go with a6. So they are thinking to go and expand with their pawns first instead of jumping the knight out. I'm not sure which one is instead of jumping the knight out. I'm not sure which one is specifically worse or better, but I do know that a6 covers b5, which is a square that white definitely wants if they can have it. So I'm sure they wouldn't be too unhappy if there wasn't a6 on the board. Alright, so castle, okay, nothing too funny. And now, after castling, for black the consideration is whether or not they want to take this light square bishop. Before the castling is quite dangerous, because if you take here and they take with the h-pawn, they can still castle, but they could also not, maybe, I don't know, just put their king up if they don't want to castle queenside. And they can try and get an attack going on this h-file against your king. So slightly dangerous to take beforehand, but it looks like, oops, sorry, it looks like indeed white just castled first, and then black was able just to go straight behind that without any problems. So no big concern. Yeah, so I was thinking something like this, you take back, and then I don't know, they put their queen like over here, like their king over there, and just make some attack going. But that didn't happen, so just a castle, nothing too funny. And then we took 6 and b5. Yeah, okay, so black clearly knows that this is the section of the board where they have to make some play happen. Clearly they've got nothing going on the king side here. And for white, they want to stop this situation, but obviously their advantage is in the center, so they're going to want to try and push e4, or I don't know. No, actually, I do know. Probably e4. I don't think there's many other moves here. The only point being that they can't push it yet because the d pawn would hang. So maybe after swapping off this light square bishop, that pawn is protected. You can bring your other rooks in. It'll be a lot more safe, yeah. There's 4, yeah, I can't. I've got black has no idea what to do. Based on the time, I can also see, 27 minutes to 45. J.W. Wells is, well, I don't actually think either player's had very difficult decisions to make. It's more black has gotten into their own head a little bit. They spent some time, for instance, here thinking if they could allow a potential c5 or not, and it might have been just easier to just take and not even consider it, because they're spending time that maybe they want to spend later on. b5, bishop back, and now it's the decision for black if they want to do basically the same thing and allow white to take maybe there, or if they want to take and let white bring their queen up in one move. That will be the second time where white gets to develop by recapturing those. So not a big difference maybe, but over time these tempi do make themselves known when suddenly white's positioned a little bit more comfortably. Take here, then black still has to move their queen up, and then white's got everything nice and ready, and black's queen, I don't know exactly where it wants to go, whereas white's queen is very comfortable on d3 for a start. Yeah. What to do? e5 might have been a plan. Interesting here. So I see one of the spectators has added a few options as well. Fabian! Hey! So good to see you, man. My connection is in question. Please tell me if it's terrible. And we're trying to capture a few of the games happening over the last week, right? The last weekend. The season is almost over, so very interesting to see what these games might bring. Um, Knight a5. Okay, here. So black is thinking knight a5, e4, bishop g4, e5. Oh, okay. So they're thinking about this move here, 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 and wondering if they have serious problems or not. I wonder. Having this pawn structure for white is nice in the short term, but you've got c5 to break it up, so I don't know if that's an immense problem. But if I was playing black, so if this is the situation when I was looking at what to do, I really want to move this knight. So I would consider, for instance, even putting my queen up first, bringing my rook out, and then moving the knight this way or this way. I actually would consider going here so I could go up. Not immediately, but as one of the potential options going further in. Because you could take, because you're hitting the queen, and then you could move your bishop out after they played e4. Could be interesting. Hey, Martin. Yeah, man. Sorry, we're watching. This is the last week of this season for this league, and we're watching some games from the last weekend. So come enjoy a little bit. I hope you're doing good that side, by the way. Back to work, back to the real life. I just made myself remember the school adverts that we used to see back in the day, right? Back to school, back to reality. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the back to school sales, big thing. Lots of money in school supplies, right? Alright, so back. Okay. So black decides to try and open up the queen side a little bit first. What else might they be looking at doing, for what reason? They say I've never played this opening. Does it show? A little bit. But mostly in the time usage, not so much in the play. I think the play's been pretty good. So we'll see. Yeah. So if white takes here, black takes back with the knight, hits the light square bishop. The thing I have to ask though is, what if white takes your bishop first and just forces that pawn to go over to the king side? Because that would be a 4 versus whatever the situation is on this side, right? But black's just losing a lot of control down the center. You don't have a b pawn, you don't have a d pawn, and after white takes here, you don't have an e pawn either. So you have two isolated pawns and a lot of open files going down next. We feel a little bit uncomfortable. I like the b5 move, but I think I would have either moved, protected, or just traded off my light square bishop first. I think it would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. I'd be a little bit more certain of what the situation is now. Okay, but white just took back with their pawn instead. So this opens up pressure against the a pawn, obviously, for white, so that's really nice for them. This take back obviously defends, this take back, oh my goodness, obviously defends and attacks as well, but the knight won't stay there forever, right? This maybe takes somewhere, then out comes the queen. Yeah, so the game is opening up on the queen side, which is kind of what black wants. You don't want white crashing through in the center, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable with having this e pawn potentially taken onto the f file, because white still has their pawns here. So they have a lot more control in the center of the board, and black really has to find some interesting play around the open files to be able to complicate things, or to avoid white just kind of slowly taking over the board in the center, right? And also long term, if everything gets traded off, black's structure would be a little bit worse. Tricky. Oh, hang on, the wife is asking me if I want to eat dinner right now. Oh, no, thank you. So I think what I'm going to do is I might actually go until the hour, and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break and go get my dinner, and then I'm going to be back because there's some great games starting a little bit later as well. So I'm really keen to see them too. Okay, interesting. So Black decided they will trade off the light square bishop and then take the pawn so they get the tempo on the queen. And obviously this also relieves a little bit the pressure here. But yeah, I mean pawn structure wise I just don't like Black's position. This was an interesting move, very creative, but I'm concerned. Here, I don't know, where would you jump your knight? You can hit something once, but it's stuck, so you could protect it. Maybe this way. You don't want to protect it this way, that makes no sense. You could always just kind of like pick up your queen at least, make it go somewhere. Connect your rooks. Maybe bring the other rook over to the c-pawn before you push it. Yeah. As with any d-pawn opening, Black c-pawn almost always needs to move, unless they castled queenside. I wonder if Black's b-pawn creativity here is going to come back to bite them a little bit. I'm a bit concerned about the structure they've created, because they isolated 2 of their pawns to isolate 1. Is another way to look at it. Okay, yeah, queen goes up, makes sense, hits the knight. There's a few ways you can protect it, and I don't think you would play here. I think this is pretty natural. Just trying to see if there's a massive problem with that, but I don't see anything immediately. Otherwise here, you can still play that later on, but... yeah, Funeral Parade mentions in the comments they're watching locally as well. Pleasant and risk-free for white. Just kind of comfortable position. But AACtrl is not to be underestimated. I'm sure they can think of something. Let's see. Okay, quick snap back. As I said, over here, 3 more games starting in about 15 minutes. I think 2 of these will also be streamed separately. Gospel Gambit came back and said they're streaming a little bit. MilsBees has been streaming a little bit, so it might be interesting to listen to what they're saying and then come back to watch the rest of it as well. And then after that, 3 more games. Oh, interesting. So there's quite a lot happening this evening. This is quite nice. I wonder if I could actually stick around long enough to capture some of these games as well. It's really fun to be able to watch kind of a variety of players at the same time. Alright, let's go back to what's been happening with this game. So we saw white get into some serious problems here. There's a fork. There was also just the immediate trick here. So they lost the knight, opened up their dark square bishop, and then got their light square bishop attacked. Take, lost the light square bishop. So here, interesting enough, I think I would have probably, I don't know, I think I might have taken with my queen just to get it off the back of the board. I guess you do want to cover this, you maybe don't want to have a rook push you around. So take with the pawn, queen over. Yeah, I'm very worried white thinks that there's some attack here. There's just a lot of defenders sitting around the black king. So no clear defenders here. Kicks the knight back to f3. This is the disco knight. If it's done a move like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tempi back on its natural developing square. What am I saying? Puts a rook out. b5, maybe trying to kick a knight. Maybe that gives them access to d4 with their own knight. Alright, and black says, hey, how about we trade queens? So yeah, I guess for black, obviously just being up minor pieces, this is very easy to convert if they just trade off the queens. Queens being one of the best ways to create counterplay, so yeah, okay. So white's in a terrible position, but I agree, keeping the queen on is definitely one of the only ways they might be able to find some success here. They do unfortunately lose their c pawn. Yeah. Okay, and now it's back to white. Still a lot of time. They've been playing really fast. This is a massive concern. So you might have to just move your queen again, which is very unfortunate. You can't threaten anything with your knight either. I would consider putting it down here, hitting this knight, stopping this pawn, and getting out of the potential fork, because this is going to hurt a lot. Okay, pulls it over here. Hits the knight behind the pawn. Pressure on the front knight, still looking at this f square, although it's protected by a bishop. Yeah, and there's no funny tricks like the knight is trapped. Unfortunately, it's got multiple ways to get out. So no big worry for black that they're gonna lose their knight. They can just gonna choose how they want to go about things. Man, I'd actually even consider just not trading it at all. Like right now, just bringing out my queen to... Oh, never mind. Bringing out my queen to f6 maybe. Defending the knight that way. I don't know. I'm basically trying to just get the queen off the back though. I just really think it's good to do that. And I want to keep the knight here because it helps support the promotion. Even if you just trade off a rook, it's still very good, right? It's not bad at all. Scrooge! 16, rook h4, rook h5 looks like a nice follow-up. Doubling on the a file. Oh my goodness, sorry, that's the other game. Let me go back quickly. So yeah, okay, black did play a5 like we considered. It's one of the options. Rook a4 or rook a5 looks like a nice follow-up for white, I'm assuming. Yeah, definitely. So you're talking about white just getting their a rook up on the file and then doubling with the f. That looks absolutely amazing. Definitely it's a little bit more comfortable for white to be in this position. And black doesn't really have an easy way to put any pressure on the only real half-open file where there's an isolated pawn. So this is a tricky situation to be in. a5 does at least protect that knight in the short term. And that pawn's probably going to need a little bit of help. So I don't know if black can get their queen involved somewhere. If this pawn moves, obviously the queen can help defend, but yeah. Yeah, this structure is a very, very complicated situation for black now to find some good play with the pawn structure they've created on the queen side. Correctly playing on the queen side though, right? They needed to make something happen on that side of the board. So yeah. Oh, Jordan! Heyo! Glad to see you here, man. I see that you guys had a good stream earlier and Guitar Spider made a nice appearance. That actually made me realize that I haven't tried to invite anyone on my stream before. Only had people kind of suggest, hey, can I come on? So of the season. Unfortunately, given my current connection situation in the room I'm in, I don't know if I'd be able to support another person's input or if my connection would just kind of fail completely. So maybe it's a bit safer if I'm just doing my own thing, but for sure next time I think I'll put a bit more thought into it because I'd love to have some company on stream with me again sometime. It's always real fun, right? Having someone else go around. Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, no, you guys had technical issues. Guitar Spider was a good sport for the message stream, but a lot of fun. Super excited I was able to have Slug on. Last minute surprise for me. That's good stuff, man. What was the technical issue? Was it your microphone again? Or did you have some other problems? I hope it turned out okay, though, if it did. And I think this was already like a few hours ago then, right? You guys did about I'm guessing maybe 2 hours of stream. Oh, hang on, we've got to move here. David of the Walls, knight e5, knight e5. So, very nice spot there that they can actually try and take out this knight, put pressure on the queen, maybe force them to trade. And if this knight trades off, yeah, the more trading that white can do, the more exposed black's little pawn situation on the queen side is going to be. So, very good. Oh, Fabian, you've been watching all the streams again, have you? Always good, always good. The regulars, you know, the people we know are coming past every now and then. Makes it all the more fun when you know that people are going to be there. I personally had a busy day, a lot of admin, getting your house ready, fixing things, new curtains, sorting out stuff that people gave us for baby. And it was nice that I can sit down and do a little streaming at the end and just chat to some people. Although, unfortunately, it's supposed to be chatting, right? But at least I can read what you guys are saying, so... yeah, it's good times for sure. Very, very nice. I mentioned it before, but while it's in my head again, in about 8 minutes or so, there's a few more games that are starting, and I'm actually, because there are other people streaming, 3 games are starting, and 2 of those people are streaming their own games. I'm not going to cut my stream, but I'm just going to put it on pause for 5 minutes. So I'm going to quickly go eat, have them start their streams. Anyone who wants to watch those people do their own streams separately, please go ahead. And then in about 5 minutes after their games start, I'll be back to continue just kind of looking over all the games. But I think it's nice to just kind of give a second for the people to redistribute the interest if they want to go have a look at what other people are doing. Back to this game, in the immediate moment. White's 95 move, I feel, yeah, kind of puts black in a spot. I actually just think they should like sack this pawn. I don't really know what it's doing for them, to be honest. Or if they can't sack, maybe they should just play queen d5. And then if queen comes up or rook comes up, tricky. Maybe here. Yeah, basically I want this queen to be up in the front, and then I want to push this pawn. And the reason I want the queen to move is because I want the other rook to be able to come in. So who mentioned this earlier? Scrooge, you mentioned, right? So white can double up on the A file here. White can double up on the C file very easy. Black only has one file that's really worth doubling up on, and there's nothing there to double up with right now. And even if they take this pawn, I feel the fact that they have 2 isolated makes it tricky. So I really want them to get their queen off the back, connect their rooks, and it needs to happen quickly. So you can't go there. This is the threat. You can't go there. And this, I feel, is okay, but you still run into the same problem. Because I think white's basically threatening knight c6, hitting your knight, hitting your queen on whichever square it is, forcing you to trade. And as soon as you trade, just opens up the A pawn a little bit more. You know, like there's a little bit more access for the white player against it. The diagonal is opened up, they can put their queen across if they need to. They're not going to put their queen in the front, but you know what I mean. So a little bit uncomfortable. Although DW Wiles is offline right now, so maybe this is a chance for black to win some time back, because they're way behind on the clock as well. They've stopped whispering, so I'm sure they're feeling the pressure. I'm sure they're feeling the pressure, hey? Hey Jordan, sorry man, I don't actually know how long my delay is. I considered cutting it off, but I realized that with my connection being so weak, the shorter I put the delay, the less buffer time there is, and the worse the quality of the stream's going to be. So because of my stream's kind of situation, because my connection is so bad in the front room, I'm keeping the delay as is, and unfortunately that means I'm responding a little bit slower to what you guys are saying. Sorry Scrooge, it's literally what I'm talking about right now. What to say, man? My connection is really rough. My connection has been tough the last while. I might try and move to the front room later. Feedback though. It's bad news, but better to know. Yeah. Alright, let's just get back to the the game a little bit here. DW Wells currently after 95 offline. And black plays queen b8. This was my least favorite move of everything, and actually still exactly walks into my problem here, but I guess the point being that they trade off one of the pawns. But this knight is protected. So let's just say white does what I was thinking they would do. Knight c6, black takes, white takes, black takes. Okay, and then the point being if white takes, then black x-rays the queen and hits the rook, hits the knight. What am I saying? And in all of those continuations, white just always has a knight hanging for a pawn, which is kind of dangerous. So I'm not a big fan of it, but I understand at least that there's some thinking involved here. Fair enough. I guess white could also just kind of put their rook over now, and then none of that really matters. So if they put their f rook on the c file, then all of this is fine because these two rooks keep each other safe, and the c rook keeps the knight safe. Nope, it doesn't work, sorry, because after you x-ray the queen against the knight, you've already got another attacker here, so the knight will fall. Okay. So I give it to AACtrl. Good potential solution to the problem of what a knight c6 would threaten. Yeah. Jordan, as you say, man, it is worse on weekends, but it's actually mostly worse because of where I'm sitting right now. Physically, I'm a little bit too removed from the from where the router is, and even if I attach an extender or a repeater, I've been told by my resident IT expert in the chat, Martin, that is a bad idea because the repeater can only do receiving or sending information at one time, so it might increase my general speed, but for streaming it might not actually solve any problems. So my solution is that after a while I might just try go to the front room. When the wife's out showering, I can blab away at the dining room table without any problems. So we'll see. Thanks for your understanding, Scrooge. I do apologize and appreciate. Okay, back to the first game for a second. Let's have a look what happened here. Oh, quite a few things. Okay, the last we saw queen c4, and I was talking about queen f6 or just something connecting the rooks. Queen f6 happened, I'm happy to say. This also protects the knight. That was kind of the reason I found it. They b5 is what white played. So now this knight is to jump. This is an easy jump, actually, just forcing a trade, and if not, you can always take with check if you need to. Oh, this might even be another trick. You go here, they take your knight, and then here, and the queen's hanging. Okay, but black doesn't want to play my silly moves. They actually just pop out to the side, hit the queen as well. Queen goes up to c7, and now you can bring out a rook, but the b pawn is also hanging. And the a knight is hanging. Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe black has overplayed their advantage a little bit here. What can black do in this position? White is threatening a lot of things. I wonder... Well, this would protect here, and after they take there, you could take, and then you could... Okay, so actually, I like this. Go here, make them take your knight. Then you take here, they take back with their g-pawn. You check their... No, wait, no, you take with your queen first. And then they can't stop you from checking here, really. Then after you check, it's... Mate? No, they can still go here, but after you check, what you can do then is what? Then you can jump out, hitting this square, which will be mate. They come here, you can check again. And even if there is no immediate mate, I'm sure you're just absolutely crushing. Okay, they go ahead and check first. Queen over, and oh, they insert the queen. Alright, so black is just absolutely not willing to sacrifice or risk anything. They are just going to force a trade, and that's the end of it. White correctly says no trade, no deal. I cannot trade. I'm down literal pieces at this point. I definitely need to get things sorted. Martin nesting. Martin, come fix my story, man. Fly to Japan, bring me a massively long Ethernet cable. I looked online, but I have to pay so much for like 15 meters. I don't even know how many meters I need. Um, Now that I actually have a slightly larger apartment, I no longer know how many meters it takes from all the way from that side to come here, so tricky. Alright. Queen d7, that gives black a chance to get out with their rook, and also they're protecting the d-pawn. Queen g4, and white loses their b-pawn, unfortunately. Yeah, there was no good way to protect it. Here, a hitting the... I mean, white's not threatening anything here, so I think black can just kind of chill, come over here. If there's some rook movement, they can, like move their queen to the side if they need to. Eventually find the ideal way to get out. They can also just kind of hit the queen again. Oh, okay. And literally, as we say it, queen f5. So when you know your opponent doesn't want to trade, you've got a massive advantage because you can keep on pushing that queen around. Okay, so white now not wanting to trade. Where can they go? I mean, basically just sideways in one of these directions. Black can push through. I think black should consider here, even just sacking, because then you can get there, and then that would be mate. Oh yeah, okay. So after white runs away, probably not here. Let's assume white runs the other way. I think this is the move for black, just threatening to take there, take twice, and then have the light square bishop come in on the diagonal. I think that's a really nice way to go. Oh, okay, hang on. Oh yes, okay, so this is where I said I was going to take a quick break, everyone. If you haven't already, make sure to check out who's playing. Let's see. MilsBees, he'll be streaming his own game, and Gospel Gamut also streaming their own game. I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then continue. The stream isn't going to be going anywhere. I'm just going to be, putting down and keeping the music up. But I'll be back just now after having a quick break, and you guys can go ahead and enjoy a bit of music. I'll keep the boards going. Or if you want, head over to MilsBees or Gospel Gambit's streams and check out their stream as well if you want to have a specific player view. Do remember, players can't chat, so they won't be reacting at all. But you can at least hear their thoughts. They'll be talking about what they're thinking about and so forth. Alright, and then for me, trying to find my be right back chat. Here we go, be right back. So, see you guys in a bit. I will be right back, and I think in the meantime, maybe I will put the... What can I do that's kind of a useful screen to keep? How's this? That's 4 boards, but you actually can't see exactly who's playing. That's better than nothing. I'm going to keep it like this for now. I'll put the chat over on the right so you can see it, and be right back. Alright. Not sure how we're gonna... But we will make a plan. I'm gonna take off my face for a bit if that's okay. And let's open up the 3 new games. Here's one. Here's one. And RockWomble, heyo, it's one of my team. Alright. And let's just get them to the start so we can have a quick look about what exactly happened here. Let's see. Alright, so this is Gospel Gambit, who's also streaming as I said, and jpgmich. I'm assuming it's Mick and not Mitch. Could be Mitch, I guess. Or the Mitch is TCH, I would assume, if I know anything about names. Alright, so Mick goes D4. I'm a D4 player as well these days. C4 as a Slav. Okay, love to see a Slav. People tend to go wrong with like an early bishop f5 a lot of the time nowadays. Oh, okay, no, just straight semi-Slav. I always thought the semi-Slav, semi meaning not complete, would be like the 2, and then the Slav would be all 3. I was always very confused about this when I was like learning names of openings. Knight c6, takes early, okay. We could still go into a Catalan here, but there are other ways too. The idea with the Catalan here would be that you're trying to get that long diagonal open. a5, or a4, this is reasonable. You're trying to stop e5, you're trying to be able to take back that pawn eventually. Okay, and here you can probably play your queen out, take, then take the pawn or something like that. Alright, just e4. Very nice, taking the center. Now you're hitting that pawn, you're going to get it back. And although black took and kind of took your c pawn, they took with their d pawn, so white has a bit more presence in the center. This e pawn pushes up and kind of gives white their advantage for the queen's gambit accepted in various ways. Alright, and here we see b5. So the problem with this one is that it's obviously pinning the knight. If it wasn't here, you could take twice and then everything is falling apart, but because it is, now you can't. So you have to unpin. Oh, they take. Oh, they push. Okay, so actually it looks like black is just going to be able to hold on to this pawn the way that white is playing this. Everyone's developing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. As a white side player of this, I am not super excited for white right now. They're going to be, you know, breaking down all of this pawn structure and everything later, but yeah, black is getting everything done, it seems. Very comfortable there. Knight f6. Okay, they've moved their bishop once, and now they're going to pin it and try and win it, I guess, with e5. So in this situation, you could move your queen and like let the pawns get doubled, but obviously a little bit nicer would be to play h. Here, take, they take, you take back with your, sorry. You play h6, then they play here, then you take the bishop, they take your knight, and you take the pawn. And although your h-pawn is now sitting on g5, you have an additional pawn. You could either push that or just sack it or whatever you feel would be the way to go, but at least there's no immediate threat on your king. Okay, but a nice one for black. They could just develop the other knight obviously as well. And what, maybe after this they're only playing h6 after the other pawn. Yeah, here h6. Okay, so they're delaying it a bit. On the on the white side, I often feel like, wait, wasn't this a mistake? Now I can pin and my bishop is, you know, attacking. But this is actually still perfectly fine for black, which is very frustrating. So take with the pawn, take with the pawn. And now what white has to decide is what? If you take here, obviously they can't castle anymore and everything's open. So for black situation, yeah, maybe I should reconsider, because I said that after black got the additional pawn and they held onto it and they developed all of these bishops like this made me feel like white was a little bit behind and gonna be struggling. But now that this whole situation has happened, it looks like black might actually be quite comfortable. So we have to You have to check if... Oh, sorry, now it looks like white might be quite comfortable. It's their move, they can take here, and then black skin is just going to be sitting in the center. Which could be okay, but could also turn out to be quite dangerous. I wonder, would there be any reason not to take this pawn? Would you want to rather take this one here, and after they take with their queen, what, like hit the queen like this, and then maybe kind of come here? No, you're just dropping a pawn that way anyway. What could white be considering here instead of just taking that pawn? Yeah, it is a lot of potential trouble down this side of the board though. It's dangerous. I'm sure it's still super equal and everything, but yeah, a little bit uncomfortable, I'm sure. A little bit dangerous. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat, but actually it looks like my situation is not working on my phone. Give me 1 second. Hey. Okay. Alright, better, very nice, okay. Alright, they do take the pawn, looking pretty good. And then I think from black's perspective, you almost always just put your, yeah, rook over. Black's got 50 minutes. They've played this kind of position a lot, I take it. Alright, let's now go to the other game quickly that's also started. So this is MilsBees versus Ciraid, and MilsBees is also a Catalan player, so we might be able to see something fun here. Oh, but they play E3, okay, E4, okay. So none of that action happening this time around. E4 says it's Sicilian. Okay, going for the E6. Push up for the open Sicilian. A6. Okay. Very nice. Bishop D3 is something I don't know so well, but I guess the fact that C4 doesn't really help you, given that E6 has already been played. So here at least you can look forward to having some potential action down a diagonal later on. Alright, hit the knight, which is currently undefended. Hit the bishop. Super normal pattern when a bishop comes out to attack a knight. Drops it into the pocket on A7, looks very nice. Queen up, defending this pawn, putting some pressure down here. Potentially trying to castle queenside? I wonder why you played here. Are you trying to decide where to castle later? Let's see. Knight E7. Ah, okay, now we see. So white is trying to get rid of black's pocketed bishop on this diagonal, which is a great diagonal to be on. Okay, so they put the queen up first on E2 so they can play bishop to E3 afterwards, retake with the queen, and just take that dark square bishop off the board. Okay. Black just castles, they can take back with the rook, and indeed they do. And then C4. Oh wow, okay. So white still hasn't castled. I want to say this could be like a Maroczy bind, but I don't know, I think you need your dark square bishop for that to be a little bit more fair. You also need this knight to move at some point. Alright, and D5. So white hasn't castled yet. D5 is a nice way just to break. Eyo, I see feet here in the, and guitar spider in the chat on this game. Yeah, MilsBees is a very charismatic man with a beautiful puppy, and that counts for a lot. That does count for an absolute lot. D5, nice break. I'm liking the way black is playing this. Castling, not trying to defend that dark to a bishop. Taking back with the rook, you can always bring it over on the 7th rank if you need to. And breaking with the D pawn, very nice. The point here obviously is that the more the middle opens up, the more in danger white might be. So if you take, let's just run it. So take, for instance, then I take back, you take again, I take again, and then I've got a potential pin on your queen here. I've also got a knight sitting in the front, which I can jump over to hit your bishop and queen. So it could be a little bit tricky. Also, if white takes and black takes back, the light square bishop opens up immediately. Although they might have wanted to play b5 at some point anyway to get it on the longer diagonal. I wonder. Let's see. Ciraid said black needs to open the center and not let white stabilize on a Marazzi-bind structure. Yes, indeed. I think that's a very fair point. D5, trying to avoid white getting this kind of set up with the, for example, in this structure. The only point being again that the dark square bishops were off the board already, so I don't know if MilsBees would really be considering a Marazzi-bind structure here. I think it might just be worse for them, to be honest. So I'm kind of hoping they don't, because I don't think that'll work out too good for them. Alright, let's see what the third game has been. So third game is Rock versus Muana. Muana, I don't know, RockWomble is on my team, so go RockWomble. Hope they're doing great. So Muana's white, it's e4, c6, so it's a correlation with c4. Ooh, okay, very nice. I like this. Okay, e6, just defending, knight f3, knight f6, and c5. Okay, saying I'm not gonna pressure you or potentially give you an IQP or anything funny. I'm just gonna, this backwards pawn might get a little bit weak at some point. You know, there are ways that black might be able to put pressure on it from this side combined with the knight, but it does limit at least a little bit black situation here, though I don't think it's the best move probably for white. I think probably just trying to avoid playing with an IQP, right? If they take, you have to take back and you've got an IQP, but we all learn over time. Sometimes you have to play with the IQP and avoiding it actually gives you a worse position. So I'm not sure if that was the best move really. Probably developing would have been a bit better. Oh, interesting. And black just says, you know what, if you want to do this, I'm actually just going to immediately break down your structure and force you to get that IQP anyway. Okay, a little check. Trading off the light square bishop. I think this is going pretty well for white, for black, to be honest. I think this is a great trade for them. It's their worst bishop. It's also actually white's better bishop because their pawn on d5 or d4 is on the dark square. Interesting, but they continue pushing. They continue pushing, and now black has to play their knight back again, hitting this. And I see that black can actually, white can actually defend it a few times. So attack it once, maybe defend it with the queen, for instance. Attack it again, defend it with my other knight. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm sure that eventually black could still make a plan here, but this is an interesting way to play. So knight back, queen over here, threatening a discovery. Which what? I guess you would then queen. You won't take. You would just actually go here. Maybe the queen stops it, and I queen there. Okay, but yeah, okay, just stop it immediately. Yeah, here comes the knight. So I can't say if this is theory at all, but I'm liking the general way that that white is playing, just because it's kind of unique and it looks like it's got a bit of teeth to it. Anyway, here comes black putting out the dark square bishop. Very easy way for them to try and just take back, and then they can actually take here, because if you push, they can block with the knight, and the rook is also taking care of your potential queening pawn. Castle, take the knight. Oh, interesting. Okay, so black doesn't want to win the pawn and risk anything coming through, although I think it could have been pretty good actually. I think there's a version of this where they could get some really good activity. Okay, they just decide to jump their knight ahead, knight e4, and this is an interesting one. I get for white here, you don't want to drop your pawn, but being able to get something on this diagonal, stopping black from casting, could be really nice. Obviously here also, if you play up your knight, black can take and double your pawns on the c file, which is not good. Although, no, but they'd probably be able to move faster than you can put this up. But then you could get this. Oh man. Okay. No. So, I'm actually thinking this might be pretty good for white. So you're threatening to take the knight, and after that, then you hit the rook on f8. They put the rook somewhere. I'm not sure. Let's just say they put it here, for instance. Then you put in your bishop on d6, kicking the queen from the square, and maybe the queen, I don't know, maybe the queen goes here. Hit the queen and the knight. Oh my goodness. This could be really dangerous for white actually. For black actually. White could find a very interesting way to attack here. If black doesn't have the right way to address that, this could be really dangerous. Okay, but they have to play up with the knight 6 and black has to decide it's worth taking. So we'll see if this comes around. Let's go back to our previous game. So I gotta say, white had a very tough opening and black had a very strong advantage, 2 pieces up, and this is where we left last. But still the game isn't over, so clearly black isn't rushing and white is trying to avoid trading and keeping fighting, which I think is great. Always keep on fighting in chess. Even if you play strong opponents and they say, oh, you should resign in this position, don't listen to them. You're there to play, you're there to learn, and you can't learn if you're already off the board. Afterwards you can always go analyze all the positions anyway. So alright, so queen b4, hit the pawn. Yeah, so here I said that black should actually just do this and hit the h pawn and just kind of like trade off it, hit the queen there. They can either like lift a rook or put the light square bishop over on e4. Anyway, they protect their pawn first. Oh, and white finds a fun move, hitting the light square bishop and the queen. I mean, trading is still good for black, but still fun. Okay, interesting. But unfortunately not a good move. So with g4, not only do they open up their king, which could literally lose them the game, but they also drop their knight. I wonder if I would have done this on purpose first anyway, and then gone here to hit that and then come here. Or if you just, I guess you just take first. Yeah, okay, just take the knight. King comes up defending the h3 pawn. Rook comes over. This pawn is currently not defended. Well, I guess it's defended by the queen. Hits the queen as well. Queen comes back. d2 takes the pawn now. And now you can always bring out a knight. What if you hit the king like this? And then you hit him like that. And then you can take here as well. Queen comes over to try and defend some more. In comes the faraway knight, hitting the queen. And where are you going to put the queen? I guess you can try and hit the... No, never mind. I was going to say you can try and hit the backwards rook, but the black queen is actually on that diagonal. Okay, and this is where we are now. And finally, white has been taking some time. The position is very tough for them, but I'm glad to see they're taking their time a little bit more. What can they do? They have only got one more piece that hasn't moved, so maybe you can bring it in and trade off this side, but things are looking incredibly tough. Incredibly tough for white here. This is not a position you want to be in. Definitely not a position you want to be in. Black just being up all these pieces, all this development. The king is completely safe still. White hasn't been able to develop all their pieces either. Maybe something they should have looked at a little bit more, because they still have this rook just sitting in the corner. And they definitely had some chances to develop their last pieces. So maybe something for them to work on for next time. There we go. Alright. So, over to JW Wells against AACtrl then as well. In this position, we left after here. So I see pawns, this knight would be forfeit. So I thought that maybe white could just find some other moves in the meantime. Something that's a little bit more stable and just keeping everything together. Okay, interesting. So they put this one here. They can jump over to c5, which is a great position for it to be in. They would also threaten the double fork. forking twice. What would you call this? Because you fork once and then you fork again. The double fork. Okay, and you defend this backwards pawn. Black gets their other rook out, so they've got a queen and a rook on the semi-open files on their side, but their A rook is unfortunately just kind of protecting the pawn there. Okay, and this is clearly looking very attractive now, right? So black would take there, then this falls, but then the knight isn't there, so actually could be pretty nice for white to get both their rooks or one of their rooks out into the game. Anyway, white doesn't take any of those chances, just plays knight c5. Great spot. They've got very, very good control. These two knights, very, very strong. Alright. These two knights slightly less strong, superfluous as you would call it. They're actually looking at each other's squares, so they can't go to each other's positions, which is a little bit frustrating. This also means they can't work together, like white's knights, which actually hit the same square, which means one of them can jump there and the other one protects it. Little bit tricky for... Oh, what did I do? A little bit tricky for black. But at least they get their knights a little bit more active. Definitely they need to be a bit more active in this side of the board. So right, bring out the other rook. Very nice. And lift a rook. Okay, interesting. Trying to get some lateral defense here. Maybe trying to trade off and then pin this knight in some way. I wonder. Okay, and this is where we're sitting now. So for white's perspective... As soon as you hit this knight, it's probably going to jump over to hit your queen. You can maybe put your queen a bit further in, but then this pawn hangs, so probably you don't. You fall back maybe. The idea being you kind of want to break through. Yeah, but currently this knight is nicely positioned to defend the c-pawn, so you can't just move and attack. I mean, it might still very much be viable for white just to double up on the A file like we considered earlier on. Hey, Jose down under. Hey, Jose. Damn, I'm apologizing for that. I didn't mean to rhyme with your name, unless it's something that you enjoy and I pronounce it correctly. Jose down under. Nice to see you again, man. Glad to have you come past. And I'm saying man, assuming you're a guy. If not, another apology. Man, I'm apologizing constantly. Maybe I should just relax a little bit and enjoy myself more. Thanks a lot for saying hey, I appreciate it. How are you doing, by the way? How's life down under? And are you down under, or are you just saying you're from down under? Because we should be in a kind of similar time zone in that case. I think you might be 1 hour ahead of me. Alright, let's just move over to the other boards. Let's have a look. So Gospel Gambit's game has progressed a fair bit. A little bit further back. So we left here after Gospel Gambit played over Rook G7, very natural. And I said a little bit earlier, I said that I didn't like how black was able to develop all their pawns, get all their bishops out on this queen side. I thought it was very dangerous for white. But then after what happened here, I realized that black now can't castle, and their pawn structure might actually come back to haunt them a little bit, because these pawns can get broken down on the queen side. The king side's already been opened up, so you can't castle there. You can only sit in the middle. But then white's also got some options to potentially break through the middle, so actually not so clearly bad for white. Might be dangerous for black as well. Alright, so here we see... Interesting. So you can't take back, obviously, because the pawn will just hang. You have to take the knight first. So take the knight, then take the pawn. Queen over hitting said pawn. Also accessing that h2 square, or h7 square, which is dangerous, man. All good. I'm good. Yes, Sydney. Oh, very nice, very nice. Jose, this is not related to you at all, but since we're talking Australia, my wife... Oh, hang on, maybe it is. My wife has been watching Married at First Sight, the Australia edition, and I've been watching it with her in the background. I get drawn in. I think this happens with many couples. The women often end up watching kind of like these reality drama TV shows, and then the guy's like, yeah, it's not interesting, and you're like standing, and you know, you go make yourself some tea, and you're like checking out a little bit from the kitchen side, and then slowly but certainly you're just kind of like getting drawn into the story. So I've been seeing a lot of the Married at First Sight Australia edition series, and man, what the drama! But it still makes me want to go visit Australia and New Zealand sometimes. So I don't know if you've actually even seen that, but I've been seeing a bit of Australia in the past. Whoa, okay, hang on. So hang on. Oh my goodness. While I'm talking, the game ended in a draw. Okay, we were here. This looked very good for white. Like I said, I think black's actually in a bit of trouble here. Okay, so defends their pawn, allows the queen to go up there, and then defends the rook with the knight. Very nice. Okay, now the queen can go down here. I guess it can go down here. It can also just run back basically down here. These are very limiting options. You could also put the queen just on h8, and like if they take, then you just queen, right? So they can't. Okay, but instead you move back, hit it again. Oh, oh my goodness. And I guess with this, who offered the draw? Black offers draw, and draw accepted. Oh my goodness. So Gospel Gambit, although they were the streamer in this case, actually were just very happy to get a draw. Let's just quickly have a look at what the situation is. This was Gospel Gambit versus jpgmich, and if I look over here, where would I look to see who they play for? Here, Blunder Buddies, and we find BC8 interesting. So this is, oh wow, actually this game has been pretty one-sided. So white's team was basically winning. They just had to get a draw in the last few games. And so black, I guess, could have only played for a draw for the whole team, but ended up just taking the draw early. So this game has come to an end. Anyone who's finished on Gospel Gamer stream and come back, welcome back. I hope that they had a good time. Maybe they're going to do some analysis afterwards on their stream, I'm not sure. But with that, we've actually seen one of our first games finish. So a little bit surprising. You don't watch reality shows? No, honestly, I actually don't either. I think it's mostly trash. But you know, the wife watches it, and to be fair, out of all the reality shows I've seen her watch, this one actually I think seems the most real, which I don't know how much that really tells you, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the chess again. Alright, with Mills, we did send them trade off. Yeah, we were looking at d5 here, and I think black mentioned that they don't want white to set up a Marazzi bind structure, and kind of my feeling was, but why can't win with that? I don't think so. Without a dark square bishop, I feel like the structure kind of lacks a little bit of its flexibility and ability to move forward. But I haven't played it in forever, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a Marazzi bind without a dark square bishop works perfectly fine. Yeah, Jose, I work in market research, and I get kind of like a monthly update. I actually have to double check the report for the monthly update of tourists coming to Japan, and this year has been crushing. Record months, record year numbers, absolutely the most tourists that Japan has ever seen. The term over-tourism has come up again and again. There are so many tourists from everywhere, including Australia. And I'm sure there's many of them here right now, ski, snowboard, and stuff like that. Oh, I miss it. I actually really want to go snowboard as well, but I'm in a bit of a situation with a pregnant wife. Only a few weeks left till baby comes. I don't think I can just take a whole day away, because if it's the day, then I don't know if I can make it back off the slopes in time. So I'm sticking a little bit closer to home instead. Okay, so here, and then we saw white just castle, so they're not letting black get the position by taking in the middle or anything. They can take back either way. If black pushes, the pawn is also probably in trouble. So black didn't push, I take it, I guess. Oh, they just took. Okay, take back. Very interesting. b5, that's nice. I like that. So trade off, make white spare the tempo, and then get the tempo again with b5, and then you can also put your light square bishop on this nice long diagonal. We did say that the other option was that if white took, black would be able to open up this diagonal for their bishop, but the long one is clearly the stronger place to be, so I like this a lot. Move. Oh! This, very, very strong. So I would expect black would still come onto the long diagonal, but playing e5 hems in white's light square bishop. So in this case, black's light square bishop just gets a little bit stronger versus white's one. White's one can't get past here, can't go here, and black can get on both of these very, very active diagonals. That's a great move. Very nice kind of in-between developing move. Okay, comes over. Okay, so threatening a little bit. You know, I can take, and you have to defend your queen. So probably the queen goes to c7. Maybe b6 even. You know, just taking a look at these squares down here. I wonder. Yeah, b7. I said b6. Apologies. Said the wrong word there. Alright, develops the last knight. Might be able to come here, get a trade, open up something on that side. And, okay, so black doesn't take the long diagonal like I expected. They just secure their pawn, their bishop on the, well, I would say king side. It's the middle and it faces into the queen side, which is good. But I guess the point being also that it helps to defend the king a little bit, which is really good. Alright, indeed, white does jump. And this would sack a pawn, right? But they could get it back with a nice little trick here. So if you take, and they take, and you take, then they can take there with check, and then win your bishop. So that would be equal pawns everywhere, except black's king would be on h7, and they wouldn't have an h pawn, they would have an e pawn. And also this would be in danger, so actually that would be a great little combination for white, I think, just potentially having a little bit of something. And this is where we are right now. Okay. I don't think there's... Yeah, I mean, black can also just take with the bishop, but I don't think you want to give your bishop away. I guess you don't want to put your queen, because then I can drop back my bishop, and then I'm potentially starting to open up against your queen there. Maybe after I take one, so you take back with your pawn. Maybe I just decide to reroute my bishop then. I wonder. Mills, you found a really nice move. This is tricky, eh? I'm thinking from black's perspective, and I'm a little bit unsure what I would do here. I can't go here. So, I mean, I can defend the knight, you know, of any of these squares. And it's either that or take your knight. Oh, okay. I almost thought I made the move, because just as the queen moved, I clicked. Oh my goodness, I thought I made some mistake. Hey, Gary in the chat. No, wait, Gary in the real game chat. Gary, come to the stream instead, man. Come watch. Okay, yeah. So, I thought for white in this case, rook overtaking the other open file also allows you to potentially put a knight here, which would hit a nice few squares. Also, I like the idea of pulling back your bishop to potentially open this up. Because even if they want to win the pawn, right? So take the bishop back, they take with the queen. Then you can go here, and that bishop is stuck against the queen. It's pinned. So I think this is a pretty good move. I think this is probably the more principled move is just AC1. If I place AC1 and you take, and I take, and you take, then I can still do this here. And then I can do this, which hits your queen. And then I can win the piece back. And then I'm hitting your queen. I'm also hitting this pawn. Yeah, so definitely I think really take here just yet. Maybe after they play something like h6. Or maybe if they can bring the other knight over to f6. Although I think white wouldn't complain too much about doubling their pawns on the f file. Jose, by the way, are you part of the league? On the stream before, I'm curious if you're finding me from Slack or if you're just finding me from, I don't know, YouTube or Leechess or somewhere. But because I don't recognize your name, I don't know if you're from Slack or not. So do tell me, reveal yourself, reveal the secrets. Okay, I'm going to leave this a second and go over to the other game. This was RockWomble versus Muana and... Oh, actually in this position I found a really cool combination. For white I thought black takes, you take back with your pawn, they castle, you hit their rook, they move the rook maybe here, then you hit their queen, and after the queen moves then you push your pawn and you're actually getting really close to promoting, all the while also being able to trade a queen off potentially, or just win a piece here. Oh my goodness, I think this would actually be crushing. But instead, they went here. I think this is still the same idea, that they can take and go here. So here, they did take with their bishop. Didn't castle. Oh, okay, interesting. Forced the trade. Okay, I didn't expect that in-between move for black, but it's a very good one, I guess. They'll just have a protected passer long term, and it'll be knight versus bishop. And this bishop can protect the pawn, but can't attack ahead of it, so I wonder who's better. Alright, and... black said, no deal. Oh, white said no deal. Ooh, this is dangerous. If you castle, they chop in. And then you can't protect that from being made, so you have to give up the exchange. If you push, they still come in, and then you can't castle anymore. Oh, this was a good move by white. Very, very nice combination here with the queen and the bishop. Alright, they did play up their pawn, and I think this would be bishop h6, just stopping the castling. No, goes the other way. Bishop b4 stopping the castling. Oh my word. This is tough. And also what that allows probably is that it's going to be harder for black to fight this diagonal. So white's queen could potentially come in here. Oh man, this is dangerous. Okay. I think that maybe this was a good way to defuse the situation. Queen c4, forcing either a trade or a trade this way. Could you avoid it? I don't see a good way to avoid it. f3. I don't think that's a great move. I would take, you double up your pawns, you get pressure on an f pawn that you can't attack again. Oh, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're going to double up, and then you're going to try and double up against the pawn, which is hard to defend, because I can't get on this square here. But I could probably just push my h-pawn up, and then defend it from the side, and I could still try and get my knight out here. I could push your bishop. Okay, so black does take, and does play the knight out immediately, and I think maybe you're just going to go sit it on a very comfortable spot where it also defends the pawn. Yeah, h5. Yeah, so did consider this because you want to try and defend from the side, pushes in, closes things up. Okay, so white's really trying to abuse the fact that they can't defend very easily against this f file pressure. I wonder actually what black can do. Okay, oh, very, very good. This is a nice one. Okay, so I can check you or some silly things, but the main point I'm guessing is to try and put myself on f5 and just block up that the file completely. Then the king can come out and we're playing on the c file. Yeah, that's a great move, and you can't really stop me because I've got h5 already and you pushed past it. So to stop me, you would have to play h3 and then g4. Oops, sorry. And then you'd open up the h file for my rook. Oh, that was a good move here. Yeah, okay. I don't think this move was necessary. Oh, but you can't go to c because I fork you. So fair enough. Push it away, then go to c. Yeah, okay. And this is where we are now. Okay. So massive win for black on figuring out the f file, but now the c file is a problem because here there's an entry as well, and you can't go up because then they just push you back again. So I wonder actually, I think you have to take. Yeah, okay, and black does take. You do take back, and they still have potential control there, right? But now you can play bishop f8. You can even castle, but I don't think at this point you do. Bishop f8, which you can follow up by playing f6 or even f5. The point being that if white isn't ready to stop you from doing that, you kind of solve your problems, and you've just got a massive amount of pawns in the middle, and this pawn's going to be weak long term. Also, if you can do this, you can lift the rook over to help file. You could put a rook here first, for instance. I wonder. Black might be interested in castling though, they can connect their rooks. Sorry. But then white could come in on the c6, 7, or the c7 square, and it's still very dangerous. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Hey, Gospel Gambit! Sorry, I just saw your message, man. I'm a little bit slow to check the chat every now and then. Honestly forgot about the team situation there since I'm on alternate this week. Oh, I didn't realize you're on alternate. Sorry, I didn't check how many weeks you've played, so I didn't realize. White was actually +2 when they accepted the draw in my game. Now, I'm not using the engine, so I didn't go back and have a look, but I'm surprised that you offered the draw. I guess you were just trying to avoid complications, but given that you're streaming, I thought that you would really try and play for a longer game. Maybe that's why I'm losing so many games this season, because I'm streaming all of them and I don't want to finish too short. That might be part of it. Played on 2 boards for Blunder Buddies this week. Oh, very nice, man. Jose, you're saying you're on board 6 of Oh No, Not Again. Ah, okay, hang on. Let me actually go find your team quickly. Let me have a look. Oh no, not again. Oh no, not again. Here we go. Oh no, not again. Board 6. Jose 684. Got you, man. Thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate the reveal. Very, very nice. I'll quickly check out your season. Why not? A performance rating of 1821. Yeah, okay. 406. Not bad, not bad. Hope you have a good... Oh, no, wait. You already finished. So did you skip a week? Oh, you skipped week 3. Okay. Yeah, man. Not bad. 1821 above your rating. So pretty good. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Alright. Okay. Oh, okay, goes here, takes the pawn, then this pawn falls. Okay, so black is basically thinking that being able to take this pawn and lose this pawn is worth it. I thought that they would actually just bring their rook in and push, but maybe that opens up more problems because of the second file. So, the seventh rank being infiltrated. So yeah, but I think, wow, I don't know, which way do you go? Okay, I was going to say, do you go this way or this way? But white already went. Okay, and now... Okay, very nice, go in there, hitting both of these. Black has a bit of work to do. Protect this, you can attack it again, they can protect it. That said, I think overall black is in a fairly good position because they've got these connected passes. So it might take them a while to figure out how to do it. But I think they'll be the ones that are playing for a win, whereas white is kind of playing for a complication that might give them away to swindle out of what I think is probably a long-term losing position. Although the pawns are far back, right? So it's not immediate. Hey, Jim. Caught the middle of the stream. Thanks for coming past, man. Appreciate seeing you. I did message you earlier, right? I hope that you can send me a link for that amazing picture you drew of all the people in the community. I'm really keen to see it again, if you don't mind. Gospel, you say you streamed 2.5 hours last night. Very nice. Actually, I tend to kind of focus for about 2.5 hours, and then I normally stop streaming. So if my games last 2.5 hours, I'm very happy. If they're longer, then I normally get a little bit tired. So I'm a big fan of what you're telling me now in terms of how long you streamed. Actually, the more I'm looking at this, the more I think that black might be in some trouble. They need their king to help protect this pawn. They need their rook to protect this pawn. They need their other rook to protect this pawn. So they can't actually use any of these pieces, and white can slowly walk their king up, I guess. Very, very, very tricky position. Yeah, black says in the chat, very passive position. That's a tricky one. Today messed up a winning endgame and drew. Jose, endgame, man. Endgames are beautiful and delicious and amazing. except when you lose or you blunder. You know, when it was like, alright, this specific king move wins because 50 moves down the line something, versus this one, which looks identical as far as you can see, but eventually isn't. It's very frustrating. I can appreciate the feeling. Alright, let's do another swing around. Still going! I'm so impressed that this game hasn't finished yet. Yeah, I didn't think through enough. Uh-oh, okay, maybe black made a mistake. Alright, last we were here, yeah, white came up to queen e3, black kicked the queen, and then the queen had to move. Okay, they just moved further in. It's good to be safe, but to take care. Okay, I was talking about this bishop movement forever earlier in the game as well, but black didn't play the way I wanted them to, so... Okay, interesting. That was a nice mistake. Oh no, we've always seen the checkmate. This was a nice mistake. Look at this. Looks like such a clear, obvious move, but white wins a rook. So now it's 2 minor pieces for a rook. 3 minor pieces for a rook. So still clearly winning for black, but yeah, I don't know. I think black could have just taken here and just been up a million pieces and made a plan, but it's okay. I guess they decided not to. Okay, threatening some mate action. Take the rook, threatening mate again, push the pawn, try and kick the bishop. I don't know, this file looks very dangerous. Maybe pull back and come in this way even, because then you can go and take here. Hit the queen. Can't hit. Hit the queen and drop the bishop. Oh, drop the knight. Oh no, look at this. And then because of this, this pawn is actually also currently undefended if the bishop moves, right? Okay, come in for a check. Take the pawn. Oh, this is dangerous. Black has now suddenly had 2 mistakes coming in. Okay, takes there with check. King has to go back. Hits the queen. Oh, this is a nice thing to find. The fact that you can do this and then come in here. So there, here, back, take there, and king has to run up. Trying to see if I can find the mate before I see it on the board. I mean, this feels like a really nice move. They can check you, fall in, but you could run either way. You can run here. Okay, check from the back instead. Alright, so you've still got these 3 squares, but now you're also hitting the rook. So you have to run this way or this way, not to just lose on the next move. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And unfortunately, you still move or lose on the next move. Beautiful combination here. Cutting off, not even taking, right? Just checking immediately. And after you block with the rook, GG. Oh my goodness, what a game. Alright, so, for black, you lost focus. You didn't lose the game, but you lost a rook and a knight, which I don't think you needed to. That said, well done, obviously, exploiting all of white's plays in the beginning. For white, definitely go and double check your opening, because actually in the end the game was pretty good. You played a good game, but queen f3 and then jumping the knight out and back again and then moving the queen to jump the knight out again, just wasted a lot of time. And you also didn't need to lose that c pawn, right? You could have protected it. There's a lot of things that we could have done a little bit better in the opening to have a much better chance at having a nice game. But yeah, well done, GG. I'm very impressed that this game lasted 2 hours. I feel both players put in some good effort, and I'm very impressed that white didn't give up, because they were doing a lot worse out of the opening, but I appreciate that they played on and fought. That's pretty cool. I think that's great stuff. I just realized, oh yeah, Jim, I'm talking to you, man. You can't be thinking I'm playing. I shouldn't be talking to spectators, right? Because I could see. Come to Sydney. We have a big tournament in April. Jose, I would love that. I would be so keen to go to a massive tournament. Here in Japan, we have like, I don't know, like 100 people, maybe 150 if it's in Tokyo. I don't really go to the sons there, but I can't go anywhere right now because my son, my first child, is supposed to be born in a little while, and I'm not going to have any free time for any overboard chess for a while, I think. Alright, so GG there. And let's have a look at this game. And I think some other games have started as well. So let me just go back to where we were. Yeah, so we were here and we were wondering what white might do. Hit the rook that just got lifted. I wasn't so sure about this rook lift, but you know, anyway, so hit the rook, goes back, drops the queen back as well to open up the rook on this file instead. Okay, maybe want to try and get over on this side even. Try and put some pressure on that square. Triple pressure. All kinds of things are interesting here. Okay, immediately pushes the knight away. Trades the knight. That's a nice rook lift. Hits the pawn as well. Defends the pawn, but now you can triple up on that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so doubles up first. Drops back to avoid being in danger. I think this queen can come and do something interesting here as well. I really want to put this queen out somewhere to do something. Alright, just drops back to defend the knight. Okay, and this is the point. They can't do that ahead of the time because the rook would be hanging. So it wants to get rid of that attacking knight. Okay, you can take with the pawn or with the rook in this position. Taking with the pawn connects your isolated pawn, but it means that this is an uncontested passer. So I'm assuming you're going to take with the rook instead. You do take with the rook instead. Backwards rook or forwards rook, you take with the forward one. Okay. Now black looks like they want to double up and also defend. And white is tripling up. Not quite Alekhine's gun, right? Where does the queen have to be for Alekhine's gun? In the front? In the back? Does it matter? Anyway, okay, and black says, never mind, let's just trade some pawns. This is a good trade for black in the sense that that means that their isolated A pawn becomes uncontested, right? Oh, and this is where we are. Alright, so 2 minutes and 5 minutes respectively. We're getting into the nitty-gritty late games. Tough times. I also realized that there's some other games that have just started, so I think what I might do is just quickly open some of those up, and we'll just have a look at all the boards and then come back to these again. So TV, we got this one still going, this one's still going, we got this one still going, this is a new one, this is a new one, and here is a new one as well. Alright, very nice. Okay, so JW Wells, we're going to come back to this game. I guess they're basically wondering if they can get away with this trade here. Oh, so trade once, queen, then take here. Yeah, it's a little bit dangerous here. This pawn is going to get shepherded down the board, so I think black might want to have to. I wonder what to do. You've got two attackers here, so you can push this pawn up once instead. And then have two defenders as well. Maybe just a way to avoid immediately letting this trade happen. Because I think, although I didn't like AACtrl's isolated pawns, they found a nice long-term resource here, whereas if you do trade eventually, this A pawn just becomes a uncontested passer, right? So, okay. Millsies. Last we were here, we were wondering. Okay, here I was actually thinking, would you go back or put your rook over? But it seems they just traded. Queen takes. And then in comes the knight. I guess they're trying to avoid having their situation doubled. This is a square they might want to try and take control of. Not really a move I expected. Am I missing something? Why would you go there? Rook over. Oh, okay. This is all that has happened recently. Okay, so this game is still going. I'm not. I guess. I mean, you can try and put some pressure there. This pawn would be hanging, so you're gonna have to move these first, then come over. You could also force some trades, I guess. But yeah, now white's A pawn is under pressure, so they kind of have to make a plan here. Which one would you move? Would you move this one or this one? I guess you don't really want to give the square away. But if you do this, you could also do here and just get your other rook over. Get some lift for your king in some way. Okay, I want to cover the newer games, so... Oh, this one. Okay, fair enough. I thought that black would be in some serious trouble to actually find the way to move forward here. King back. Oh, interesting, yeah, because you can't infiltrate without taking an attacker away. Push, take, defend the pawn, push past. Okay, this has gone in a very different way than I thought. Black is just clearly better here. They can take this. They've got these guys going. This is great for them. Okay, white tries to find some counterplay, but they can't trade the rooks now. And black's just got 2 extra pawns that have been passed and connected. It's very... Okay, I think maybe we've made some mistakes here though, actually, for black. Yeah, I think you just dropped the pawn. That was not good. Oh my goodness. Did you just lose your advantage completely? What to do? What can you do? If you oppose, take, then just take. If you push past first, they just take. Oh my goodness. I think RockWomble unfortunately just dropped the advantage with that move. Here. Yeah. Okay. Given the structure, I guess the move was here first to protect the pawn. Okay, take. Access! Alright, so is there maybe a way to still win this on Tempe? So you want to force white to move, so you're basically just going to try and... Oh, actually, I think you got it. Boom. H4. Yeah, RockWomble, that was a quick way to throw away a 2-pawn lead. You absolutely did, but I think with H4 you're still winning. Because white has no moves that doesn't allow a passer. And yeah, you found it, and then you can access probably the situation a little bit faster than they can, right? I'm just clicking away. Here, here. You're just one move ahead the whole time. Take, here. This might still be a draw though, if white runs this way. If white runs the other way, I think they're just completely losing. So white has to find this. Okay, literally what I just said. I think black just won. I think white had to go this way to just make a pawn race and everyone queens and stuff. This, I think, is losing. Because the king can't come in here. So this I think is losing. Take. If I go here and you go back, I could just run over this way again. But I feel like this was the wrong move. Here again, make you choose. Yeah. Oh, RockWomble, you've got 45 minutes. No need to rush, but I'm pretty sure the move is King E4. Pretty sure. Yeah, King E4, there we go. What? Blacks? Oh, I see, but that's not gonna work. White's hoping that black takes. If you push, black can just do nothing. Because if you take, they take back with the pawn, they've got the same structure, and you have to run your king all the way around, which is too slow. There's nothing to calculate, just go take the pawn. Just tom, take. Take. Promote. Well done. Okay, off to the new games. Let's have a quick look here. This is Sahkal versus Jelly. Jelly. Oh, hang on, let me have a look. Sorry, I haven't checked the chat in a while. I'm so bad with chatting chat. I sent you the drawing. Oh, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. We'll be working on it a bit more on a stream on Feb 7. Cool, man. That sounds really fun. Ah, for the kid, thank you very much, man. I made it all appreciate it. I appreciate it big time. I hope that you will appreciate what I'm planning to do father-son streaming in the future. If I have to look after baby in the middle of the night, then I might as well stream some chess and just drone away. And I hope baby sleeps very well while I'm doing it. And then, yeah, cool. See you, Jim. Thanks for coming past, man. Alright, so we're probably just going to come at the start of these games, but let's have a look quickly. Jelly opened up with e4, e5. Okay, so this is looking Roy Lopez Italian. Okay, and very, very just e3, knight f6. Okay, and trying to go for the dark square bishop. And sahkal writes a lot of comments. Let's just see what they wrote about this last move. They wrote nothing. Okay, they wrote nothing about this last move. They are still thinking about it. We will see. Alright, this game looks like it's going slow. Interestingly, sahkal isn't really playing very fast. I guess they're kind of taking time to write stuff. Oh, here's AACtrl. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. That is definitely a name I have not seen before. Okay. So, I mean, this is one of those where, like, you could potentially keep the bishop for a while, or you could just lose it in some way. I'm guessing, as with most bishop losses in this kind of structure, where you're losing it in front of your pawn chain, probably dropping it to the back and opening up a rook is the best way to go. But of course I could be wrong. There might even be a thing where, like, we just do the same thing. You take, I take, you take, I take, you take, I take, you castle, I go up. Draw agreed. We will see. Next we have Dama X Ray. I feel like I covered Dama X Ray in the past actually, because I remember having to type out the nickname and it was kind of difficult. And Workjob 202. Alright, Workjob, let's see what you got. D4, I like it already. Knight f6, C4, D5. Oh, okay, interesting. So we're going for a martial defense. Is that what the name is? I do forget these names sometimes. Oh, interesting. And don't take. I definitely take. And then e4 is the natural move, but apparently knight f3 is the better move because you want to stop e5. But I forgot like why that really matters. Anyway, okay, and take, so e4, so this is basically like a Queen's Gambit accepted now. Okay, e5, definitely the move to play. And here I think you can choose, but I personally quite enjoy advanced. I've actually had this versus someone else where they played, I advanced, and then they played bishop b4, and that's losing. So I don't actually think it's the right move, by the way. I think it's actually not the right move to advance here, but it's fun. Yeah, knight f3 is the right move, and you can take back, and then they go, and then the point being that there's less there, but I still think that you can make something happen here. Here they have to block it and tuck something. You take here, they take first, here, take, and then there's a lot of like isolated c pawns. Oh, okay, and white's going for it. I like it. Take back. Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Black, I think, made a mistake here. You have to take the knight in this case. You have to trade off your light square, or your dark square bishop because it's undefended. Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate. And very nice for white. They can actually take back with the knight and check, and they still have this pawn defended. So this is looking amazing for white from that little action. Okay, drop the queen back, black castles, take the pawn. Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. White is just up 2 minor pieces. Very, very nice. If I was them, I would probably just do this and just get a rook out. Okay, drop the file. A little bit uncomfortable with that because, you know, this one piece is defending the other piece. So if I do like this, you might be in trouble. What would you do if I pressed your knight in this position? Where would you jump it? Here, here, and then I would take your bishop. So actually I think black had a chance here to win one of the pieces back, but unfortunately they didn't see it. Attack the pawn, defend the pawn. Okay, here we go. Maybe they found it now. Ah, okay, I see. So you just lock up the file actually. But that pawn is pinned, so I think you're still losing. You're just trading off one of the pieces here. Oh no, wait. My queen's also hanging. Oh no. Hang on, so you maybe have to move your queen first, but then they can castle, and then most of that amazing fun is out of the way. Very nice, finding b4, hitting that queen instead so that it can't... Yeah, okay, I was just going to say this rook better be defended, otherwise they can take and take here. Alright, and now you take this knight first. Okay, out comes the bishop. Taking pawn. Oh my goodness, this is getting tactical as well. Now this is hanging, which would be promotion and check, but this is also hanging, and this is hanging with check. Oh my goodness. Okay, decides the castle instead. Why don't you just take it? Why did you castle? You'd lose that one, I guess. But then they'd lose their queen, so they'd still have to rather do something else. Okay. Oh my flippin' goodness. This is crazy. Yeah, I would definitely take here, promote to a queen, you take my queen, I take your other rook. And then I take this. And I've got 2 rooks and 2 minor pieces versus your queen and 2 minor pieces. And I also have the A and C pawns to play with. Anyway, black says, I don't want to do all this. I wonder if they want to try and just like... Where would they go? There's nowhere to run to here, unfortunately. I mean, they can just go back again, but... This gives you a queen. Yeah, I was going to say, this gives you a queen, so... I lose this one, but I already gained here, so then I can just run this back up, and I'm doing fantastic. Although I kind of enjoyed the whole take all the rooks, but it's not the best line, I'm sure. Oh man, this game is just absolute like mania. This is so fun. Oh, it takes this queen, leaves this queen still under attack. Crazy stuff. I feel like I have to count the material to make sure what's going on. So black is up in exchange. Is that what the situation is? Absolute madness. What a game. Black is also up in time. You guys should play a little bit slower. Goodness me, 50 minutes already. Slow down, slow down. Okay. And then the last game we have here is PatchyThePirate versus IroncladUnicorn. Very nice. Alright, so e4, and it's a Caracan, and it's an advanced Caracan, and this is the... Don't remember. What's the Pano version variation? Is this what this is? I don't think so. Let's see what this is called. Botvinnik Carlson? Botvinnik Carls. Alright, so just immediately putting the question to that back pawn of the chain if you want to take. You obviously isolate both of these pawns. We can take back in one way or another. Defends it instead, so this actually could turn out looking like a French now with e6. Okay, knight, knight. And this is the difference, the big difference between the Caracan and the French is the fact that you could still move out this light square bishop before it's too late, before you close it up with e6. I used to play the French, and I can tell you 100% that it is brutal sometimes being stuck with that light square bishop behind your e6, d5 pawns. It can be a lot of fun. There are some fantastically interesting variations with like f6 and all kinds of stuff, but goodness me, I think I would definitely recommend Caracan over French for new players, just to not have to deal with that kind of problem the whole time. Alright, pins the knight, unpins the knight, plays e6, very nice, castles, takes the knight. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not against the idea of taking the knight, but I'm not sure if it was really necessary to take it. You could have kind of like waited for them to do something and then take it later, or you could trade off your kind of worse bishop versus their nice bishop. So yeah, it's fine, but I feel like you could have waited a while before taking. You could have, you know, developed a knight, you know, put your knight out here or here, put your bishop out. I don't think you had to take immediately. Okay, maybe there's a reason that they're doing this, because they wanted to weaken that d pawn. Oh, okay, this is exactly what's happening. Take back, take back. And then they're gonna try and just take that pawn out. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is where the game is now. Alright. Yeah. I mean, I've seen this position. I've been on the black side of this. It always feels, haha, I get the pawn. I have the dark square bishop versus the light square bishop. And, you know, it's better for me probably, right? But, yeah, actually it's pretty okay for white still. If you take here, they're not super worse or anything. Um, so yeah, what to do for white? I wouldn't mind doing something interesting like this even. Trying to get a knight over there. Maybe putting some pressure on this pawn immediately. Followed up by a knight coming to the d5 square, d6 square. That would be pretty good too. Could be. Especially if we're going to trade off this and maybe get some action on the f file. The fact that this knight is over on the queen side and this knight is the one that's going to get traded might end up being a bit dangerous for black. We'll see, we'll see. We will see. Alright. Back to the front of the queue. Let's just see. I think that's basically... Yeah, we've got 5 games going. Oh, that means one more has ended. Whoa, okay. This has completely deteriorated. The whole endgame is gone. Okay. So we left off here. Okay, white does play b3. I did like that. It was kind of a best cut them because taking immediately looked kind of dangerous. Alright, and black just triples up, so now this pawn can't be defended, and I think this kind of forces the issue. So now you have to take on c7. There isn't really... I mean, you can waste the move, I guess, and then trade, but it's basically, yeah, take, check, take, check. Nice, here, check again, here. Okay, I like the way that white has done this. But black still has this isolated passer, which is the whole kind of danger point in this situation. This combination kills it. Beautifully done. Alright, so it's 4 versus 5, but they're all on kind of the one side of the board. 2 queens. Check, push you up, check, push you up, and trade. Interesting. Okay, so I guess from black's perspective, this 4v5, everything on the same side is probably easier to keep if there isn't another queen on the board as well. So trade off, and everyone's just kind of moving their pawns around. Interesting. So you don't want to take with this pawn to isolate this one, and you don't want to take here because then this pawn is a passer, so you take with your king instead, keeping your king nice and active, which pushes the white king back. Alright, now you have to fall back. And J.W. Wells is trying to find a way to create an endgame where they can win. And I think they're just winning, to be honest. Oh man. Alright, so black undoubles white's pawns. I'm looking at the comments as well. And I'm pretty sure white just wins here. This pawn can't stop them both. And if like they do like this and you trade off, basically white can just force you to go run after that pawn and get in while you're taking it. And then it's a 2v1, which I don't think you can win as black. This is tough. This is tough. Tough stuff. Oh man. Looks like J.W. Wells might have found the right way to... This was the kind of critical point, how to defuse the situation. Great combination, bringing the rook in from the back to trade that. And the fact that you can see, you can get this fork, absolutely amazing. From black's perspective, maybe they should have taken here first. Then take, then take. The pawn still falls, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I mean, oh, okay. I guess the point now is that you can't walk your king in. But I'm pretty sure black is still losing. They just can't force this trade just yet. So I think actually white needs to get out of the way. Either here, here, or just getting out of the way to push up the other pawn first. Yeah. Okay, this is not the combination, the continuation that I thought was best, but maybe it is. Here, here, and then black has to move something. Here you go this way, and then it's that pawn and this king. Here you go back this way, I guess. Okay, maybe it just doesn't matter. Looking at it now, take, the main point being that this square is taken up. And your king's in the front, this means black can't move forward with their king. Maybe there's just no way around it. If you take, I take back. You have to make a move, but the same problem remains. You can't move forward. If you move backwards, I move up with my king. I've got this passer. If you move either of these pawns, I move my king over this way and I enter whichever square you get. And if you don't give me a square, I run my passer. Yeah, so I guess there's maybe just no way to make this work. Tough one for AACtrl. They really played really hard to get to this endgame, but it looks like they just won't be able to hold it. Okay, we're getting to the end of my time streaming, so I'm gonna just have a look at what's happening at the other games. I didn't quite get knight a5, maybe just to avoid some problems with like taking and then the pawns get doubled. Okay, they played a3 in the end. They had to move something to make some space to be able to bring the rook out. Okay, doubles up, rook c file. Okay, so it keeps control of this square over here. Okay, brings back the bishop. Now we're going to be trying to trade off to be able to gain some access. Oh, this is where it is. Wow, these players have really been playing slow, taking their time, trying to think through very, very deeply. If you trade off everything, so trade, probably I'd take back with my queen. And I have the file, and I can jump my knight back this way. Also, I can just wait for you to move your knight, and then I can attack here if I want to, I guess. And go here. Maybe being able to jump back to this square would be good. I see. So you're threatening the knight, you're threatening to hit my queen. If I take here, you have to take with your rook. There's nothing there, unfortunately, because I can force your pieces to walk out, but it doesn't help. And this looks like a fun but unfortunately it's covered by the queen, so nothing there either. And in the long run, I would say black is just tiny better because of these pawns and these bishops. This one staring at its own pawn and this one being kind of liberated from that. So maybe black's just kind of happy to trade towards a kind of equalish, endish game and abuse the slight advantage from the pawn, from the bishop. Take. Take. So move this over. So take, move this over, hitting your queen again. So I get the D file at least, but you have the C file. And still, my light square bishop can't go anywhere. So Mils might be struggling a little bit to get their minor piece properly in the game. Oh, okay, so this game ended. RockWomble, I watched King E4, and I thought that was the way in. And if they went back, you could just put them in zugzwang again and keep pushing them backwards. Okay, but they actually just went sideways, and I'm pretty sure this is a win. You don't have to do anything, you can just go, yeah, just take back, and this is the problem for white. You have to run all the way around to make anything happen here. You're just too slow. Yeah, just too slow. Okay, nice. Oh! Okay, so that's just so clean. So, in this case, there's some fun ways you can kind of win this with, like, you know, pinning the pawn, checking the king, and then like slowly moving your king in every time you win a tempo. Black was just like, screw that, I'll just take your last pawn and then I'll just promote my other pawn. Well done. Very, very clinical. GG to RockWomble as well. Alright, back to the newer games. We were here behind this move, and Black spent a long time thinking about that move. This was move 6. They wrote a few messages, both knight f5 and queen knight check. What? I think sahkal is old school because the way they write the notation is very clean, but difficult for me to read. Bishop knight, king knight 5. King knight 5. Oh, okay, they're talking about the positions. King knight 5 is there. Okay, so, oh, okay, I got it. So bishop, and instead of saying g5, like we kind of do nowadays, they're using old school king knight 5. Okay, so king side knight, 5th one. Oh my goodness, okay. Very nice. Hello! Yeah, I'm gonna finish in a little bit. I'm just wrapping up the last few moves. Oh no, really? Oh no. Are you okay? A little bit of a problem living in an apartment is sometimes you can hear the neighbors. We've got thick walls, but anyway, let's not talk about that too much. Okay, so they did it, drop it back, kind of, you know, London style. If you take, I can open up my rook. They did take, they'd open up the rook, okay. So I'm sure this is still theory. Oh, and that's as far as we've gone. Oh, goodness. Okay, so sahkal must have spent a lot of time thinking about this. So they said both bishop knight f5 and queen. Oh, hang on. Both bishop g5 and bishop b5, which could be... Oh, does he mean from his side? Oh my goodness. Okay, so from black side, bishop knight f5. Oh, sahkal, this is so difficult to read. Okay, so he means this and this. These were his options. Okay. Looks like options. Okay, so here we've got pawn b3, and then bishop, rook 4. Oh my flippin' hell. I don't know why you want to write it this way. It feels like it's so much more hard work. You have to keep on like thinking that way then as well, compared to the easy ABC that we have nowadays. Okay. Okay, don't know how to evaluate the position. Okay. Bishop, king knight f5, there's this one. Knight x bishop, pawn x knight, pawn to king rook 3, that's h3, if it's for white I guess. Bishop knight, queen takes bishop, knight to queen 5, which is here, hitting the queen, queen 1, and he wasn't sure if that was a good position or not. Basically trading off this and then getting this square for his knight. Could or could be not so good. Okay, copying with knight, rook f3 doesn't work. There's options here. Okay. Okay, and they did take, and they did play. They play, okay, now maybe they move queen rook pawn to prevent knight to queen rook 5, knight queen rook 4. Okay, is this being prevented? It's because you can play, no, when you just take, right? Okay. Alright, but it's sahkal's move again, and they are way down on the clock. Clearly thinking quite deeply about this, but I think considering I'm probably going to wrap up in a bit, I will just move around and see what's happening on the other boards quickly. Oh, okay, so Workjob and Dama, the game of the day. This was such craziness. Look where we were last. Yeah, the promotion, and then they played, oh my goodness, A4, just keeping the complications going. In this position, black is up an exchange, right? So I'm going to help you count it because it's complicated. This is the difference. Alright, white doesn't have an extra pawn, but the pawn is connected and this pawn is isolated. Alright, so A4, hitting the queen, queen goes back, queen gets out of danger, rook comes over hitting the pawn. Okay, and I think here we're winning a pawn. Oh no. Oh no, I can see already what might happen here. Danger, danger, danger. Oh, hang on. You could have just oh, okay, so you're scared they're going to take here, are you? Okay, so you first move your bishop out, hitting the queen, and moves away. Then you take with your pawn. They take. Oh, and it's the same problem. This wins the queen. And white did see it. Takes the queen. And it's GG. Okay, still a few moves to go. But when you're up a queen for a rook in this kind of position, looking pretty strong. Oh, and here comes the rook entry as well. Unfortunately, you don't have a dark square bishop. You could have maybe like pushed a little bit here. Okay, defends. But it's unfortunately already attacked by the queen as well. GG. Oh, GG Dharma and work job. This game was absolute madness. Watch out, not Queen DX5. Mamma mia, I knew it. Oh, so Feet Barbie is Italian, so I really love the fact that they wrote Mamma mia. Feet, that's awesome. If you watch this, I really appreciate that little touch, man. Wisely done. And the classic, what would you call this? I don't know. Bishop sack to open up the diagonal kind of thing. Alright, and this was the other new game, PatchyThePirate versus Ironclad. And we saw this turning into kind of just, oh, okay, and then they traded this, which I thought was maybe not, they could trade, but they could have traded slower, like a French without the bad bishop. Alright, attack, defends the pawn, other rook out. Okay, yeah, here comes f6, basically playing like a French situation. I like it. I like opening up that diagonal, that square. And now black's got an isolated pawn, quadruple defending it. Sorry, white. Black just trying to push out a little bit. And it's white's move. White still has another rook to get into game. I don't really know if this move was so, impactful, to be honest. I wonder. Given the fact that you're like defending this with everything, I wonder if it might even be worth just trading your own light square bishop off. Or like pushing even, making them trade. No, but you don't want to, especially because you've moved your F rook over to defend the pawn. You could have used your A rook as well. You probably don't want to open up more action on this F file than you have to, because it could get quite dangerous. So Patchy, what to do? You can come in one to attack the pawn a little bit if you want to. You don't need to protect this with anything further. You've got enough enough defense. We can get a very nice symmetrical position here with this, and then moving this back, and then everything's basically identical. Trade off, draw agreed. So I wonder what white will do. If I was them, I would probably just get... Oh, okay, they do bring their queen back, hitting that pawn, defending sideways. I would probably just brought my other rook out though. Feels like something you should do. Alright, let's go back to the front. Oh, this game did end. Let's just see how it ended. We didn't think that black was going to be able to survive, but they did, obviously tried. Okay, so they pushed past, so this is now a protected passer, but they win a tempo on this king, and if their king can stay around here, they might have been able to make something happen, I guess. Also stops the pawns from moving forward too fast. Yeah, so you can't, they can't come forward, but you can't go around here either. And I guess white can just slowly crack you open. Yeah. Over to the other side. Does crack you open. Back again. Yeah. There's just no way. There's just, unfortunately, in this position after they traded queens, this, if the pawns were over here, or this pawn was over here, or here, if all the pawns were lined up, maybe it's okay, because then the doubled pawn might even just be stuck behind itself or something. But the fact that they were all separated, and eventually actually white traded both their pawns this way, so they ended up with just completely passes. I wonder even in this position if it would have been okay not to trade. If they push past, what do you do? Push? No, then you have to take, I guess. Start running this pawn. Running some more, come back. Take. Yeah, I mean, you're still lost in every situation, but tough game, well fought. Well fought indeed. Alright. Okay, I think this is my last loop through, then we're gonna go. Let's have a quick... I don't think any other games are starting. Oh, there are actually 2 more games starting at midnight, but I think I'm gonna call it, because I've been almost streaming for 3 hours, and that's kind of my max. So here, again, Mills, I repeat myself, I'm a little bit unsure about this move. I feel like there might have been something better in another direction, but who knows? Okay, we did see this, we did see this, we did see this. Oh, here, this is where this felt like such a provocative move. Basically, it looks like black's kind of happily willing to make everything just kind of trade off. In the long run, the only real difference and potentially black's advantage is that white's bishop can't get past their central pawn, and black's bishop is very happily running around in circles. All of those nice open light squares. So white did take the first rook and did take the knight as well, and then did take the d file. Okay, so there was another way I thought this might happen, but it's literally the same position. Yeah. Oh, and this is where we are. Damn it. Okay, I love how like games go to the obvious place and you're like, alright, cool, and this was kind of that combination of moves, and then you realize that the players also stopped there and are using their time. Yo, and everyone's very low on time already, hey, like under 10 minutes. They've really been using it to try and figure out how to play. Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh, you can play f3, but actually that just drops your bishop because it's a double. So not good, not good at all. For black, I would think like f6 is great. Just open up a bit of lift, protect that central pawn. Maybe your king can come up here if you need to at some point. Yeah, you've got a little bit more space on the queen side. It might even be good just to like play this up and take this diagonal from white. It does allow you to potentially play your your rook over to the king side here as well, depending on where they put it. I wonder if you do this, if they will come in here though, pressing you there. Trade, and then this bishop would be not in trouble because you actually blocked the file yourself. So white could run out. Oh, interesting. Okay, they come out towards the queen side, towards the king side themselves. Huh. I like that. Here's an obvious one, obviously. You can do this, threatening a little something. Oh, I see it. It's at least an interesting combination of moves, whether or not you can do something with it. So there's this, right? And you can do this, which is a skewer, but they can still block it. But the other thing that it does is also you're creating more and more potential holes around the king, because there is this option of maybe bringing out a a rook across the way later on. The trick, right? This is really dodgy looking, right? There's literally only this queen keeping black from being mated on the back rank. So I definitely think they should have considered giving their king some lift. That feels so dangerous. I'm almost giddy with a little bit of worry. So dangerous. Alright, on the sahkal jelly game, sahkal, after another long think, decided to castle, and now white is on the long think. Or maybe they've strolled off to just go have some coffee or something while they're waiting. I am surprised. I guess maybe this position isn't like super theoretical, so both players are just really trying to think what they're supposed to do. I mean, black just castled, so white could very easily castle. Are they concerned that there might be some attack coming on that side of the board? I wonder. I'm actually gonna pop over here and just see if this is a theoretical position or not. Yeah. Okay, and my computer just stopped opening up the opening book. Okay, apparently we can't see here, but this is a move. And normally they play h6, bishop, e6, castle. Yeah, I guess so. We apparently moved, I think maybe this move a little bit, I'm not sure. We moved off a little bit from theory somewhere, but still not that different. My bishop is in harmony. Okay, let's see what sahkal says here. It's nice to be able to watch a game where people talk a lot. If only they use notation that's easy to read. Alright, Jelly woke up and they eventually castled. My bishop is in good harmony with the pawns. Another possible knight reposition is something like queen to king 2, which is e7. And then knight to queen 1, king 3. A knight to... oh, so knight to d8 and e6. Alright, yeah. Okay, and their bishop is in good harmony with the pawns. Well, they have a light square bishop versus a lot of dark square pawns. Very nice. Alright, and on this move, interesting. Attacking, defending, a3, just taking that square away, and queen g... I'm really enjoying how black's playing this position. What I have done in the past is just take that bishop and then went like, oh, there's nothing there. So I'm really glad they're also not taking immediately. They're going to find a nice potential attack here, which is, hitting that knight, which is, hitting the bishop, which is not defended by the pawn. And then you have to go there. And then what? Maybe they can put their queen here and they can push something. Or not. Maybe it's just a bad move. Okay. The one thing that this queen b3 does allow, which is really nice for black maybe later on, is also, so you can hit the queen, and then, I don't know if it's terrible to lose that pawn, but then you can get your knight on c4, which would also be double attacking this one, which means you'd win that pawn and is hitting b2. So I would love to see black... oh, okay, hang on. I really enjoyed this move, but it doesn't look like it worked out so well. Oh, what a great find. Alright, black just made a very bad mistake on this diagonal. Very nice. So, takes the defended pawn, and if you take back, I skewer your queen with my bishop. So, you just lost that pawn. You also lost this middle a little bit. Man. That's an exchange. What can you get for that? Nothing. Because this is still defended. Oh my goodness. Wasn't the move putting your rook up? Because you could still keep things relatively under control. Yeah, I guess the point being, if you take this way, then things are just looking really bad for your king anyway. Oh my goodness, white found an amazing way to break through here. This is tough. This is really, really tough. Okay, and queen takes... So white is up a pawn and an exchange. Still hasn't moved their a-rook though. I really think it has to get out sometime. Black and white both have isolated queen pawns in this position now. Black can fix that for white if they want to. Oh my word, okay. But this is going to be a tough game for black now to come back from. Definitely not the position you want to be in. This pawn basically for free now, right? Take, and then I can take again. Just messing up your structure. Oh my goodness. Sure. That is a tough one. Alright, I think this is it for me for tonight. Before the next load of games start, I think I'm going to call it. Mils was... What was Mils doing? Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Okay, and they went up. They are looking at this back rank mate plan. King comes over. Oh, wow. Okay, so black really doesn't want to move their pawns. But in this case, obviously, you can trade and then just move the king up. And it's also helping to control the d-file. Okay, a little pawn trade potentially. And now black has to think if they're willing to trade or not. If they are willing to trade, I wonder what happens then. Yeah, the queen over here looks like it might be quite dangerous. It is lining up with their rook, right? So take, and then here means the rook can't move while it's against, but also the queen is still guarding it, so actually still very equal. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. Some interesting moves. On this game, okay, now things have moved a bit further. Castle, broke with d5. Take once, take with the knight. Okay, trying to get a little bit more access, I guess. Trying to break down white's center a bit as well. So, very nice. Okay, and in this case they did take the pawn. Alright, I'm going to call it. Thank you for everyone who watched during, thank you for everyone who's still around, and thank you for everyone who's watching afterwards. There were some really nice games, and I gotta say, like, this time of night is really like just turning out so nice for me. Oh, sorry, I didn't actually see here. Jaspal, you are saying we should play 1v1. Because it's chess, I guess it's always 1v1, right? So it's an interesting way to say it. I'm good now though, because I still haven't eaten dinner, so I'm gonna stop streaming. Thank you for the request, but I'm gonna maybe take up your challenge next time. As for now, I think it's time for me to get going. Please be aware that there are more streams happening during my night times, so ongoing in the evening. More people will be streaming. I'll be back again tomorrow, also streaming my own game. So for everyone who wants to, please come back and watch again. I'll be playing tomorrow though, so not watching any of the chat. And hope to see you guys again sometime. Yeah, be safe, take care. If you're on YouTube watching this after the fact, there should be maybe some other tile coming up from another 1v1 stream that I was recording earlier at some point. So please have a look at that if you want. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.